Hey, what's up? My name is Zach, and in this video I want to talk to you a little bit about 6 things that I wish I would have done more of when I was starting a business in high school. You know, always I have had these kind of entrepreneurial tendencies, and in high school is when I really got to start kind of working them. I started a photography business kind of accidentally, but over time it just grew, and I was able to kind of mold it and shape it to become something awesome. And along the way I've had a couple other things that I've dipped my toe in. Probably the first instance I can remember is in 4th grade. I think I was pretty good at reading, and I had a friend who wasn't super good at reading, and so his mom was like, hey, I'll give you some money to tutor him. And immediately the connection of work and skill equals money was made. And so from a young age, I've just been very inclined to start businesses and try to make something of myself that is not gonna lead me down the path of having a normal 9-to-5 where I go in and I hate it and then I leave and then finally my time is my own. I've always wanted to just kind of take control of my own life and my own businesses and stuff. Come junior year, I started a photography business, and it started really just as me taking photos, but I knew that obviously there was opportunity for income over time, and I was really excited to get to start flexing those muscles and start refining some things. But there were some things that, looking back now 5 years later, I totally wish I would have focused more on, or even just knew back at the time that I think would have sped me up and given me an extra boost. So one of the first things that I wish I would have kept more focus on in the beginning of my business is investing back into my business. Now, obviously with it being a photography business, it was easy to justify, I need to buy this lens, or I want to get this camera or whatever. I need to buy a laptop that works good for editing. But beyond that, beyond gear, there's so much room to invest and to make your money work back again for you. So I wish I would have put more money towards education, and not even just going to college to get a photography degree, because I don't think you need to do that, but something like finding online courses for how to run a small business or how to improve my actual photographing technique, things like that. Just continued education as far as business stuff, so that it was less oh, I wonder what I think would be good. Classes in advertising, I don't know, anything like that I think would have been genius to invest back into. Also, I should have invested more into marketing and branding. I think maybe in my first year or two I made $15,000, which is super epic for a high schooler, but in the scheme of things not too much. But had that Zach spent all of that $15,000 on hiring somebody to help me with marketing and design and branding, I think I would have started off in a much more solid space and would have been able to pivot a little easier and would start with a nice, good foundation. If you are starting a small business, especially in high school, resist the urge to take the money and just do something fun with it, and instead see how much of it you can put back into the business. If you can put 80, 90, even 100% back into your business, and you have plans to continue it for a couple years, I promise that future you is going to be so stoked that you took that money then when it was less critical and you put it back into your business to build you a really sturdy foundation. Okay, number 2, getting my business set up properly. This is something that I did not do. Within my first year or so, I went to the courthouse and I got an LLC, and that was about it. I didn't know what to do with it beyond then. So I guess I felt like I was covered and I had paid the fees for the LLC, but I didn't know what to do with that. No one ever taught me what to do as far as, you're a small business and here's how you need to set up your finances and your payroll and your taxes and everything like that. So if you can get that all figured out sooner rather than later, that will greatly benefit you going forward, because it took a couple years for me to realize, I haven't set this all up exactly properly, and to hire an accountant and to start doing things by the books in the right way. And it's way easier to get things started in the front end when you're already making less money, and then taxes and hiring an accountant or whatever is not a huge chunk of that. But once you're making more money and stuff, it hurts worse to get started then and have to play catch up. Trust me on this. With that, specific advice, instead of just saying, yeah, you need to figure out how to get your business set up right, hire an accountant, or at least ask for a consultation. Our accountant, it was $125 for a 1-hour consultation. And if you are just starting out and not making too much, that might seem like a whole lot, but I promise you, that consultation where somebody who is actually doing this and knows what to tell you and can help you out will be so valuable over the life of your business. Because part of what made me stall out and not do things the right way is I was asking other photographers and seeing people post on Facebook and Instagram, here's how you need to be doing your finances, here's how you need to set up your bank account, all this other stuff. And so much of the advice was conflicting and so much of it was circumstantial that maybe didn't necessarily apply to me. And so I wound up just getting confused and really stressed out about the whole deal, and that caused me to do nothing. So, number one advice, take a little over $100 and find a local accountant. Go sit with them for an hour and say, hey, I'm starting a small business. Can you lay out a plan for me for taxes, finances, getting my business legit, and an LLC or S Corp or whatever else, depending on how much you're making, and just ask them for advice. Number 3 is budgeting, and I was already pretty naturally good at saving my money. I love to see my bank account get higher and higher and higher, and that felt really cool, but budgeting is so important. Even if it had not changed the amount of money that I held on to, because like I said, I was already pretty good at saving, having a plan ahead of getting your money for what you'll do with it when you get it is so important and will save your butt when you are looking at some sudden opportunity that seems really good but maybe isn't. If it's not in the cards, then you can miss that opportunity in a good way because it will prevent risk. And I'm not saying that there's not any chance, any time to take epic choices. Sometimes you gotta just do something because you feel it in your gut, and it might not be on paper the smartest move, but you believe in it and you for the sake of your business and your long-term career. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about for the little things like, oh, this one thing is on sale. But like for me, I'll see cameras on sale and immediately I'm like, wait, can we buy that? Can I buy that camera? But I wasn't planning to. And you know why I wasn't planning to? Because I don't need one. So it'll help you if you budget ahead of time to prevent you from doing things like seeing something's on sale and then buying it just because it's on sale, but not because you need it. Also, as far as budgeting goes, I would suggest to put your business finances ahead of your personal finances. And this is specifically for high schoolers because I know that during high school, there's things you want to do. You want to buy a car. It's really cool to upgrade your phone or get some cool sunglasses or clothes or whatever. And that's great. But if you think across the scope of your life, so many of the things that you are able to purchase in high school are going to be so inconsequential across the scope of your life that you're really going to wish that you had held on to some of that money and, like I was talking about in tip number 1, invested it back into your business. You could get so much better of a return. Like in high school at one point, I bought a pair of $125 Ray-Bans, and had I put $125 into Facebook ads, I could have turned that into $2,000, $3,000, easy. What's more valuable, Ray-Bans now or $2,000 or $3,000 in like a little bit, you know, and just repeat the cycle, and that's how you can make your money grow. And sidebar, this is not something I wrote down. See every single opportunity and experience as progress. Even if you take a step backwards or have a poor experience with a client or whatever as you're working on your small business, it's pushing you towards being an epic business person for later. Let nothing be wasted, and don't take the little experiences that aren't super fun for granted. Take them as credit and experience points that later you're gonna get to cash in and you're gonna know what to do when the stakes are higher. Number 4 is just getting connected with people with a similar mindset. Looking back now, I totally wish I would have started like an entrepreneurial club or something like that. People who want to start businesses in high school, because getting around people with that same mindset is so valuable to you and them. You know, it's so true that your immediate circle is who you become. Dave Ramsey found that within about 10 to 15%, your income matches the income of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So extrapolate that out. If you're hanging out with millionaires somehow, but you're not one, you're probably gonna start making some more money just because their mindset is gonna like stick into your brain, and you're gonna start making choices like they make choices, and you'll start getting your income up there, you know? So hang out with people that are where you wanna be, and you can all help each other get there faster and better. Even outside of high school, the times that I have gotten to hang out and network with other photographers have been so good, not only for my little soul, but also just because, you know, when you're bouncing ideas around, having a community of photographers, or in your instance, maybe some other kind of business people, then you can bounce ideas around and go ahead and narrow them down a little bit and save some money, save some time, save some heartache and some hassle. Also in high school, wish I would have bought stock in Monster. because I single-handedly would have made it go up 30%. Number 5, I wish I would have started diversifying sooner and started some sort of bonus business. When I was in high school and working on my photography business, that was mostly where my brain was going. And I 100% had the time, mental capacity, and probably ability even to come up with some other businesses that I could have started and run at the exact same time. I don't want to be like a slave to work, but also I love the process of working and of trying to develop a business. And maybe in high school, had I started like a lawn mowing company, then who knows? Maybe I could have grown it to the point where I was just managing it and never doing that work, and then I could focus my time on my photography business and on YouTube and have some people out making me money. Try to diversify sooner, look for opportunities, and if you've struck gold with one, I would say don't just keep 100% of your brain power focused on that. Maybe do 80 or whatever, but make some intentional time to think about some other ventures you can start or some other ways you can start making money and just start to diversify your income and also your effort. Another benefit to diversifying by starting another business is that you get more experience in more areas. Like all the effort that I put into different things like investing in the stock market, trying to build Instagram filters for people, and selling presets, just a couple other little small business ideas along the way have helped me in my main business and the most successful one possible. So as you are doing these other side businesses, even if they end up failing, but hopefully at least breaking even as far as money goes, you'll get so much emotional, so much human capital by education that you've gained just from getting more experience out in the field of being a small business owner and trying to manage a company and grow it. Also, who knows if your first choice is the best one? You know, if you feel happy with it, then definitely stick with it, because you can be way happier making $50,000 or $60,000 a year doing something that you love than $200,000 a year doing something you hate. And at the end of your life, you're not going to say, oh, I wish I would have made more money. You're going to say, I wish I was happy, or, you know, I'm glad I was happy. And the sixth and the final tip for this video is I wish I would have been more myself. And that's not to say that all the time I was only like copying other people or only looking to other people, but in general, whenever I would get some education or some cool insight from somebody else, I would take all of it and do it to a T. And that's something I've always been very good at, is just like, oh, this is a proven plan that works. Let me just do it and not try to customize it for me, and let's just go for it. But I think what's way better than that, way more valuable than just copying somebody else's information or advice, is to let it absorb and just become a part of you, and then let it influence decisions made through what you want to do. Like if you learned about a cool investment strategy, take the concepts of it and take the meat of that idea, and then later look at things through your eyes and through what you think is a good idea, and then just add in a little bit of that information and that wisdom. And don't exclusively do things based off what other people say, and also don't do things exclusively based off what you say. The difference between where someone smart is and where you are is where epic happens. You know, as far as being myself goes, there have been plenty of times where I've thought to myself, especially in this photography industry, I want to shoot like so-and-so. I want to have weddings like so-and-so. I want to run a business like so-and-so. And at the exact same time, I don't want to just be a good photographer. I want to be the best. If I want to be the best, then with that comes me wanting people to think to themselves, I want to shoot like Zach. I want to get weddings like Zach. I want to run a business like Zach. But no one is ever going to say that, and I'm never going to get to the point where they might think that or want to do that unless I'm working as me. If I'm just cloning somebody else's material or trying to clone someone else's process, then someone's going to look at my business, and eventually they're going to realize that something about it's kind of off. It doesn't feel very natural. It's not the perfect version of what it is. It's just a poor imitation of somebody else's stuff. And then eventually they'll find that other person that I was copying, and they'll decide, oh, they're the awesome one that I want to be like. So be yourself, and then maybe somebody will say, I want to be like you. You're never going to get that if you're just copying someone else. So stick to what you know and do what feels right in your bones, because this is your business and this is your time to grow something epic. And you know what? You are starting at the perfect time, and there's no better time to get involved in starting your own business and really taking control of your life. You don't necessarily have to go to college anymore. You don't necessarily have to work a traditional 9 to 5 for someone else and make someone else money. This is the best time in all of history that there has ever been to start your own business, with all the resources out there, all the free education, and all the money and new things that can be made starting with $0 and an iPhone. It's insane. With no money, you can become a millionaire. Isn't that crazy? YouTube, there are so many opportunities out there that you can do with no resources to start up. So never believe that you can't do it because of your situation. Never believe that you can't do it because of your race or your gender or where you live or where you're from. No matter what, this is the perfect time for you to start on it. Maybe if you're feeling inspired right now, sit down and come up with a couple ideas for the next couple minutes. Think which is the most accessible and which you like the best, and then try to think of what's 2 things today that you can do that would make you a little bit of progress towards those goals or that business idea, and just flesh it out. Give yourself some opportunity to experience epicness and completely change your life and your family's life by doing this new thing, because you got this. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you learned a little bit about some small business stuff, and if you're a high schooler watching this, I hope that you were encouraged, and that if you are trying to start a business while you're in high school, that you can take some of my mistakes and some of the things I wish that I would have done a little more of, take them and do those things, and then hopefully in a couple years you'll come back and find this video and comment and say, Zach, this was so helpful. Thank you for all these helpful tips. And, now I own this business. And I'll be like, wow, that is awesome. And I'm so happy for you. I hope you have an epic day. Thank you so much for watching. It would mean the world if you click like, subscribe, and comment down below if you got anything out of this video. I would love to get the chance to speak with you. And as always, have an epic day. Dinosaur logo.